Good morning, traders, and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Thursday, August 6th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're actually higher by more than 0.1%. We're up 0.13% this morning. And the market's still digesting the overnight tech earnings. They weren't horrible, but they fell short of the elevated expectation levels that were there. So, they're getting hit, but, for the most part, we're okay. And you look at the S&Ps are trading higher, so that's the key aspect, that the trade's still in play. Also, we're watching the developments over that Iran-Oman accord. For any more additional details regarding the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, Tehran is out there saying, well, this is not a reopening of it. This is just an agreement to say that we have control and that we have the rights. Iran obviously is pushing to have the rights to be able to charge tolls, and they want the U.S. out of there. They don't want the U.S. blocking any shipping. So there's some decisions that have to be made here. We'll keep an eye on it. Today, key economic data point for today is going to be that initial jobless claims. In corporate news, Costco reported net sales at $23.12 billion for the month of July. That's up 8.9%. We got Salesforce.com under pressure as management changes hit the tape. SpaceX on watch. They got an expiration of their lockup period starting today. On the earnings front, we got McKesson, we got Occidental, we got eBay all trading higher, while AppLovin, SanDisk, and Western Digital are trading lower. After the bell today, we got Cloudflare, Net, we got Airbnb, Twilio, and Economy all releasing. And then tomorrow morning, you got Twilio, you got FLR and UA, Under Armour, scheduled to release. Okay, let's take a look over at Europe and see what's happening. We got the DAX up 0.14%, led by telecom shares. We got the FTSE up 0.08%, with utilities and industrials providing some support. But in Paris, the CAC is up 0.57%, extending its winning streak to the sixth consecutive session. It's really being supported by luxury shares this morning. Over in Asia last night, Asia was a mixed bag. The Nikkei, which was up huge the night before, was up like 3.5%. But last night it finished lower by 0.93. It gave back some of it. It was weighed down by weakness in AI infrastructure and chip-related equipment manufacturers. Hong Kong finished lower by 1.49%. Insurance and tech stocks were lower. In Shanghai, the Chinese stock exchange was up 0.57%, with gains in mining and resource-related stocks offsetting the weakness in semiconductors. And it's kind of a rotation into defensive commodity-linked stocks. Okay, let's take a look at oil this morning. And oil is trading higher. We got WTI up 75, trading at $75.70, up 0.64%. We got Brent at $80.18, up 0.92%. And really, it's about the ongoing negotiations between Iran and Oman. Apparently, there's a draft that's being reviewed that's scheduled for release shortly. But Iran is saying that the agreement does not mean that the waterway is open. And yesterday, the EIA reported inventories climbed by 2.5 million barrels for the week ending July 30th. That's actually bearish for oil prices. Markets were expecting a draw of 1.5, so the fact that they had a build was very shocking. All right, what else do we have? We're moving over to earnings. We got to start off with AppLovin, ticker APP. Had a good day yesterday, but this morning the stock's down 18%. They beat by a penny, but it was done on lower revenue. Then you get WDC, Western Digital. That stock's down 14.9%. They beat by 27 cents on higher revenue. And then you have SNDK, SanDisk, which is down 10.4%. They beat by $4.71 on higher revenue. And this morning you had a release from Datadog, which is now down about 20%. And they delivered a beat of 7 cents on higher revenue. So we got to keep an eye on these things. After the bell today, we got Cloudflare, ticker NET. Their EPS is 74 cents. Expected move is 10.79%. You got Airbnb, ABNB. EPS is 17 cents. Expected move is 6.94%. And Economy, AKAM, their EPS is 22 cents with an expected move of 14.27% when they release. Okay, in terms of economic reports, the key economic report for today really is the jobless claims. Markets are looking for a reading around 204K, which would be slightly stronger than last week's figure of 197K. We also have at 10 a.m. we get the productivity and costs report. And then St. Louis Fed Bank President Alberto Mussolini will be speaking tonight at 5:30 p.m. Okay, FANG stocks. What do we got? Amazon Pharmacy offering GLP-1 drugs to Medicare patients at $50 a month. Google will be facing a class action lawsuit in the UK alleging that Google overcharged businesses for online advertising and its dominance in app distribution and search ads. Meta's AI model hacked another company during a cybersecurity test. Tesla, Netherlands approved Tesla's FSD, fully self-driving system, keeping the safety data secret, though. In terms of Dow Jones 30, Disney is going to allow TikTok to use some of their characters. That's positive. Apple, OpenAI filed for dismissal over Apple's trade secrets lawsuit. Salesforce shares under pressure this morning following significant executive reshuffling. Merger news. PSky, UK regulators approved the merger with Warner Brothers, WBD. Guidance news. Datadog sees Q3 EPS coming in 63 cents to 65 cents. Street estimate 61 cents. Not bad. Papa John's Pizza, PZZA, sees full year 2026 global restaurant sales down 2 to 4%. McKesson, MCK, raised their full year 2027 EPS to 44.20 to 45. Street estimates 44.25. That's an uptick. Buyback news. Versant, VSNT, they announced a new $100 million accelerated share repurchasing transaction. HubSpot, HUBS, authorized a $1 billion share buyback. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about our pick of the day for today. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to go with JFrog, F-R-O-G, Frank Richard Oscar Grace. Earnings are due out after the bell. EPS is 2 cents. Expected move is 17.98%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 510 calls versus 123 puts. You look at the open interest, 33,483 to 6,963. Wow, very positive on both ends. Brokers, they're raising price targets. They like the stock. And they're recent too, which is always beneficial. But me, I got to get in under 82. I mean, the stock's trading 82, 84. I want to get in 81.25, but anything under 82 is definitely, because I do think it'll be able to pop after these earnings announcements. But we're going to see weakness in tech this morning, so you got to be cautious here. 81.10 is the low so far today. I'm going to say 81.25. As an entry point, but again, I want to get in under 82. All right, but that's my pick of the day. JFrog, ticker F-R-O-G, Frank Richard Oscar Grace. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what we see in terms of hot news hitting the tape. Papa John's Pizza announces senior leadership changes. The Buckle reports July same-store sales up 1.6%. Zillow July report shows 7% gains in pending data, dims outlook. Airlines have pushed back regarding ICE enforcement at airports. Work to build Google's planned Indian data center is in full swing. It's a $15 billion India data center. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's take a look at yesterday's pick of the day, which was AppLovin. I was in and out of this multiple times yesterday. A lot of good volatility in the stock. I mean, the fact of the matter is the stock opened up at $431 and then ran to 437. So there's your 1%. But then, the stock fell down to 416. And now I was saying 421 for an entry point. And it's closed at 417. And this morning it's trading lower after, the revenue miss. But, the 1% was there. Well, it's not like we wouldn't have been able to make it if you got in at the opening price, because it did bounce 1% higher on it. So, while it didn't hit on earnings, it did make the 1% during the trading day. All right, traders, that concludes today's NewsWare's Trade Talk podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.